Welcome back to Football Daily, where we're looking at a combined XI of Manchester City's 2017-18 Premier League Centurions and Liverpool's 2019 Champions League winning squad. It's a controversial one, so let's get into it. Keeper, Alisson Becker. In the summer of 2017, Manchester City decided they needed a new number one keeper just a year after replacing Joe Hart with Claudio Bravo. They decided to gamble on a little-known Brazilian named Alisson, but he didn't give them anything to worry about that season. Showing experience beyond his 23 years, Alisson kept 16 clean sheets in his first season, maintained an impressive 67% save rate, and even saved 2 of 3 penalties faced as City stormed to 100 points. That performance, however, was outdone by Liverpool's Alisson Becker in the Champions League. The world's second most expensive keeper has been worth every penny since joining from Roma for £66.8 million in July 2018, as his debut season in Europe for the Reds demonstrated. Though he conceded a higher number of goals per game than Alisson, he made 46 saves from 57 shots on target, a huge save percentage of 79%. And at Anfield, he put in some massive performances. He only conceded twice at home in the competition, both against PSG, and was monumental in their crucial 1-0 win over Napoli. That includes clean sheets against Porto, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona. To top it off, in what was frankly a dull final, Alisson was exceptional, keeping Tottenham's late onslaught at bay. Both keepers are worthy contenders, but Alisson takes the opening slot. Left back, Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson's choice is partly down to the fact Manchester City struggled for consistency at left-back throughout the season. With new £52 million man Benjamin Mendy rupturing a knee ligament just weeks into the season, left-back responsibilities were shared around the club. Danilo did well and a young Zinchenko rose to prominence, but it was actually Fabian Delph who stood out. Filling in from midfield, the Englishman had arguably his best season in a City shirt, starting 21 games, having 3 goal involvements and even maintaining an excellent pass success rate of 93%. Andy Robertson's achievements in the Champions League, however, should not be overlooked. He played 12 of the 13 games available, with 2 of his 13 assists that year coming in the competition. And despite being known for his attacking threat, he actually put in some of his best defensive performances for Liverpool in Europe. His 2.7 tackles per 90 were a career high, while his 2.1 clearances per 90 is the most he has made for the Reds. Up against the likes of Mbappe, Lewandowski and Neymar, that is no mean feat. Unsurprisingly, he was voted into UEFA's team of the competition, all but confirming his status as one of, if not the, best left-back in world football. Centre-back, Virgil van Dijk. No prizes for guessing the next name on our list, it's Virgil van Dijk. Quickly becoming one of the most desired footballers in the world, Van Dijk is nothing short of exceptional. The Netherlands captain has made a mockery of his £75 million price tag since joining from Southampton in January 2018, thanks to his unbelievably assured displays for Liverpool. A rock at the heart of defence, in 50 League and Champions League games across 2018-19, he wasn't dribbled past once. And despite standing at 6'3", the 28-year-old has proven to be surprisingly athletic. In the 3-0 defeat away to Barcelona, he was clocked running at 34.5 km per hour. For context, Adama Traore has reached speeds of 35.4 km per hour this season, so just shy of arguably the Premier League's most electric player. Across the campaign, he had the highest pass success rate, won the most aerial duels, and made the most clearances from any player in the Liverpool squad. In the final itself, he was also immense, claiming yet another clean sheet. There is really no debate on this one. UEFA's Player of the Year and the Ballon d'Or runner-up is as good as they come. Centre-back, N.OTAMENDI. The first controversial pick is City's N.OTAMENDI. And before you become irate in the comments, let me argue why. In the 2017-18 campaign, he was the best performing centre-back for the Sky Blue squad. The only constant figure at the heart of defence, he had to cope with the rotation of the perpetually injured John Stones and Vincent Kompany around him, whilst Aymeric Laporte only arrived in the January window. As a result, he started 33 games and played 2,968 minutes of league football, only 540 minutes less than the 3 other centre-halves combined. Despite struggling for defensive consistency, City still only conceded 27 goals that year, the best in the Premier League. Otamendi was particularly impressive, winning 2.3 of his aerial duels and completing 2 tackles per game, and his passing statistics were equally strong, with a success rate of 92%, a trait Guardiola demands of his defenders. His attacking statistics were also excellent too. He scored 4 often crucial goals and took just shy of 1 shot per game, the most of any City defender. Though Liverpool's Joel Matip deserves a strong mention and Kompany did finish the season strongly, Otamendi's enduring presence and consistency justifies his selection. Like it or not, the 32-year-old was exceptional in 2017-18. Right back, T.ALEXANDER-ARNOLD. Under normal circumstances, Kyle Walker would deservedly be in this XI, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is no normal defender, as his brilliant performances in the Champions League demonstrated. England is blessed with an era of unrivaled strength in the right-back role, but the young Liverpudlian has emerged as the pick of the bunch. He followed up being the best defender in the 2017-18 Champions League campaign by arguably doing it again the following year, becoming the youngest player to appear in consecutive Champions League finals since AC Milan's Christian Panucci 24 years ago. Only Barcelona's Jordi Alba registered more than Trent's 3 assists from the defensive role, while he was accurate with 16 crosses from open play, the most of any player in the competition. His ingenious quick corner in the famous win over the Blaugrana is enough to make this team alone, but his all-round performances in both defence and attack were exceptional. Kyle Walker was excellent in 2017-18, bagging 6 assists of his own and only being dribbled past 0.4 times per game. But in reality, he's yet to reach the levels achieved by Alexander-Arnold in his young career so far. Midfield, Kevin De Bruyne. The easiest pick of the midfield 3, Kevin De Bruyne is quickly becoming one of the best midfielders to ever grace the Premier League. 2017-18 did little to hamper that opinion, with the Belgian racking up 8 goals and a stunning 16 assists in 37 appearances. A fantasy football dream, he scored and assisted in the same game more than any player that year. But even those statistics hardly demonstrate just how good the former Chelsea man was. He made over 3 key passes per 90, the most of any Premier League player, with 15 of the 16 assists coming from open play, showing just how incredible a footballing IQ he really has. From distance, it's hard to name a goalscorer more lethal than De Bruyne. 5 of his 8 goals came from range, which is where 78% of his 2.7 shots per 90 came from. In fact, Watford's Richarlison was the only midfielder to attempt more shots than the Belgian. What is more scary is how he is only improving. At the time of writing, he already has 16 assists for the current campaign, just 4 shy of Thierry Henry's Premier League best of 20. A rightful heir to that record, Arsenal's legendary forward will have no complaints when the Belgian inevitably breaks it. Midfield, Fernandinho. Liverpool's midfield may still be the most underrated part of their team, but no one can deny just how vital Milner, Henderson and Wijnaldum were to their Champions League success. Wijnaldum's double against Barcelona helped propel them to the final, while Milner and Hendo grafted hard with an average of 2.8 tackles and interception per game each. This season, Liverpool's captain is finally getting the credit he deserves, but back in 2017-18, City's Fernandinho was truly immense. A firm favourite under Guardiola, in the Centurion campaign, his passing game in the centre of midfield was unparalleled by any player in his position. He attempted 92.8 passes per 90 with an accuracy rate of 91%. For both, he ranked second in the whole Premier League for those who made over 25 appearances, behind none other than N.OTAMENDI. In fact, if you need an idea of just how good City's passing game was that season under Guardiola, 6 of the top 10 passes in the Premier League came from City, with David Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan and Kyle Walker completing the pack. An additional 8 goal involvements and 3.2 tackles and interception per game is further evidence to his brilliance, with the Brazilian still probably the most important figure in the Sky Blue squad to this day. Midfield, David Silva. Completing an all-City midfield is Spanish Premier League legend David Silva. In 10 trophy-laden years in England, David Silva has won it all, and though he has consistently performed at a high level, 2017-18 was arguably his best season for the Sky Blues. Like De Bruyne, the 34-year-old was a constant goal threat, finding the net 9 times with a further 11 assists. The fact City were able to score 106 times in the whole season is thanks to the contribution of midfielders like Silva, with 10 players in the side managing 4 goals or more. He held an XG per 90 of 0.34, the best of any of the Citizens' midfielders, and converted with over 25% of his efforts inside the box. As mentioned, his passing game was also electric that season, with his 89% accuracy the best in his career. He achieved all of this while playing with the emotional burden of his son being born prematurely, meaning he only made 29 appearances due to regularly returning to Spain to see him. Though thankfully everything worked out for his family, who knows what he could have achieved had he played the whole season. Forward, M.SALAH. Just outdoing Leroy Sané is Liverpool's M.SALAH. Though it might seem an obvious choice to include the Egyptian, Sané was exceptional in 2017-18, and in other circumstances would be worthy of this team. Injury may have hindered him since, but that season the German was unbelievable, scoring 10 times and getting a further 15 assists. Blessed with a brilliant combination of pace and technical ability, the former Schalke man completed an average of 3.2 dribbles per 90, with that rising to 4.1 in the Champions League. Only 5 players managed more in the Premier League, but from those 5, only Eden Hazard had goal involvements even close to Sané. But despite that impressive return, Salah just about gets the nod ahead of him. With 4.3 shots per game, he was the top scorer scorer for the Reds in the Champions League, managing 5 goals and even creating 2 more assists. Not only that, his magical goal against Napoli helped them escape the group stages. Then, in the final, on the biggest stage of all, Salah stroked home the early penalty to give them the lead. UEFA may not have included him in their team of the season, but there's no denying just how important a role he played in claiming the trophy. Forwards, Sergio Aguero. City's greatest ever goalscorer, Sergio Aguero, is a starter for any team in the world. One of football's real travesties is the fact during 9 prolific seasons in the Premier League, the Argentine has only been included in the PFA Team of the Year twice. A farce considering he's never failed to reach double figures and is currently on track to reach 20 league goals for 6 consecutive campaigns. 2017-18 turned out to be the year his ridiculous absence from the side ended, thanks to 21 goals in just 25 appearances. Ironically, he had scored 26, 24 and 20 times in the previous 3 seasons, but enough on that. So clinical was Aguero that his XG per 90 rose to 0.84, almost 1 a game, while he took an average of 4.3 shots per match. He even managed 6 assists, meaning he had a genuine goal involvement in every game he played in. Frankly ridiculous. Similar to D.SILVA, had the former Atletico man been available the whole campaign, then his return could have easily reached 30, and this season could be the year he goes close to that again. Currently on 16 goals and an XG per 90 of 0.98, 14 goals from the remaining 12 games is not beyond the realms of possibility, especially where Aguero is concerned. Forward, Raheem Sterling. That's right, Sadio Mane just misses out. Though UEFA may have included him in their team of the year, Salah's higher number of crucial goal involvements in the Champions League just hands it to the Egyptian. And Raheem Sterling's breakout campaign in 2017-18 for City means he beats him too. The English winger had only flirted with his potential since heading to Manchester from Liverpool in the summer of 2015. 13 goals and 8 assists in his first 2 years for the Sky Blues was respectable, if an unremarkable return, and he was often maligned on the international stage. But 2017-18 was the year he looked worth every penny of his £57 million fee. The Londoner bagged 18 goals and a further 11 assists, managing over 3 shots per 90. Often criticised for his slack finishing, he found the net from over 51% of his shots on target, up from 34% the season before. Guardiola had been working on making Sterling a predator in the area, and that's where 17 of his strikes came from. The season before, 33% of his attempts had come from outside the area, where he failed to score once. But in 17-18, that dropped to 17% as he began to fully understand his own game. Sadio Mane is rightfully unlucky not to make this team, but Sterling was just too good that campaign. So that was our XI of players from Manchester City's Centurions squad and Liverpool's Champions League squad. What do you think? Have I missed any players out? Should Otamendi even be in the squad? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, make sure you're liked and subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you next time.